Good afternoon, this is Bob Iaccino coming to you from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago, talking crude oil, which ended the day up about 0.75%, right around 74.80 or so, 74 and high change. Close to that 75 level. We got $75.28 on the high side, got down to 74 on the low side. Supply concerns again driving crude oil higher after a few days lower. Venezuela's production seems to just be in free fall. It continues to decline. The launch of their crude oil cryptocurrency, the petrol, hasn't had any traction so far. It's pretty early, but it's doubtful considering that it's based on their crude oil production, which, as I mentioned a second ago, is in free fall. And Iran supply seems to be dissipating as we approach the deadline, or the launch rather, of the U.S. sanctions, where the U.S. actually said they were going to pressure countries to put their exports from Iran, or rather their imports of Iranian crude oil, at zero. That Iranian supply is finding fewer and fewer buyers as we move along. The IEA, the International Energy Agency, headquartered in Paris, actually, according to reports, specifically spoke to OPEC and asked them to increase production to actually pump more crude oil. That came through the markets later in the day, pushing us below that $75 round number in WTI, down to that 74.80 or so where we settled, basically saying that we're entering a red zone in terms of supply constraints and demand, with that matching up for crude oil, in such that we might get crude oil prices a little too high. And they also mentioned that the global economy could be at risk because of this supply crunch. They basically said the rising energy prices in a slowing economy, again assuming that the global economy will slow with the trade war continuing. There has been some weak data, but I don't think it's proven yet that the global economy is slowing. U.S. economy certainly isn't. But back to the subject, they said rising energy prices in a slowing economy could hit demand even more. So it could crush the overall global momentum we've seen. India especially is suffering from the effects of the current high prices, and it especially hits emerging markets whose stock markets took a hit today as well. So again, the IEA going directly to OPEC, talking about the global economy crisis we could be coming to and what they called a red zone for crude oil prices. But outside of that, we haven't heard anything out of OPEC in terms of a response. Supply concerns continue to drive crude oil higher today. This is Bob Iaccino talking crude oil prices from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago.